Hey everyone, it's Andrew, also known as ballet.archive. Please help me in welcoming my very first guest, legendary New York City ballet dancer, repetiteur for the George Balanchine Trust and the Robbins Rights Trust, Maria Calegari. Hello. Thank you, Maria, for joining me today. How are you doing?
Excellent. Thank you. Happy to be with you.
Oh, thank you so much for coming. It's always a pleasure to talk to you.
Likewise.
Today, maybe I was hoping that you can tell me a little bit about your experience being an apprentice with the New York City Ballet. You know, what that was like, the shock of being a student and now being in the company to some extent. You're performing in actual pieces on that famous stage. Just what was that like?
Oh my, yes. It was so exciting. And we used to be able to go up to the fourth floor where the dressing rooms were, and we're rehearsing and performing on stage. And oh my goodness, it
The
was very
dream.
exciting.
Do all the
Um,
apprentices have their own dressing room, or are you kind of in the
well,
corporate?
on the fourth floor, there were larger dressing rooms, I would call them, like um, where a lot of people sat, like maybe 20 girls, and there were
Okay.
a few of those, and we had our little places,
Yeah.
on the side there,
No, right.
Yeah, yeah.
Did you feel included being an
Yes,
apprentice?
absolutely. Yeah. And I mean, I remember so well doing fourth movement core of Symphony in C.
Wow.
And I got to do Lourdes and I were kind of doing things together, Lourdes Lopez, and we got to do
You were
the
both
core
apprenticing
of the
together?
waltz in Suite Number Three, which is the second movement of the
Okay.
first part of Suite Number Three. It's called the waltz, and
Okay.
these various small things, and oh, it was wonderful.
How much were you on stage, in a week as an
But
apprentice?
just a couple of times in
Just
these
so nice.
certain, in these certain ballets. So,
Okay.
um, yeah, that was like in 1974 for me. So I was finishing up at the school and
Okay.
was doing this little apprenticing. And
Mm-hmm.
then they come and they tell you, Mr. Balanchine would like you to join the company. And you're like, ah,
Oh my gosh.
yeah,
Wait, so
that's,
how did that happen? Was it after a performance or
I
just
don't know.
on a
I
random
remember it.
Tuesday?
I remember it so well. We were up in the dressing room and Rosemary Dunleavy came in and made this announcement. So, and I was just in shock.
Was it to everybody? They're like, these are the people that what
No,
are
I think it was
for?
I don't recall exactly. I think Lourdes was already told. We sat
Oh,
next to each other and then I was told this kind of thing.
that's so cute.
No, it was.
And then is it like the next day you're like in the company? How fast does that turn
Oh
around?
gosh, I don't remember Andrew.
Okay.
But you know, that was in like the spring, and
Okay. Like, do they wait
yeah,
at the end of the
like
season to use and
early in the
everything?
spring, and Mr. B was prepared. They were working on Coppelia already because that was
Oh.
premiered that summer in Saratoga.
Wait, really?
Yeah, and
Oh my
so it's very exciting because it's Coppelia, and one of the core women that was in the Shardash and the Mazurka and War and Peace was
Okay.
out, and I got to replace her. So I got to be in the
Oh,
premiere.
no way.
Yes.
Wow, so what was the premiere like? Was it just kind of ecstatic, all that energy at the
Oh
theater?
God, I don't know. I think it was a lot of work because it's three acts. I
Yeah, it's
mean,
a big ballet.
ballet, and I think it took a lot of effort. And Madame Danilova was so amazing, having such a great time. And Mr. B was, I mean, the rehearsals were just fantastic. He loved all that acting stuff.
Yeah, so do you have
Yeah.
like acting experience in the school, or is that another skill you have to just
No,
figure out in the
yeah,
company?
you have to just figure that out. I think other schools, like in Europe, they do some of that teaching of
They do.
pantomime. Yeah, I think
Okay.
so. We did not get it. Um, but I didn't have any pantomime in that. I had pantomime
Mm.
in Sugar Plum, at the end when when she's
Oh, of
talking to the
course. Yeah.
twins, and then there's
Yeah.
pantomime in Midsummer's Night's
Oh,
Dream,
right.
for Titania, and Mr. B loved rehearsing pantomime.
Really? That was
Yeah,
so important to all the other steps for him.
just loved that. And I
That's beautiful.
remember his correction was something like, I don't know if I can explain it well, but it was like, if you have to think it in your head. So like if you are really truly thinking it, like as if it's a talk, a speech or something, the
Mhm.
audience will get it, but you
Mhm.
have to really think it.
Yeah.
I loved that. That really worked.
That's
Yeah.
beautiful. Yeah, I feel like whenever you're thinking it, it really resonates in the body a lot more, and you can tell that they're
Yeah.
not just movements, but they're actually trying to have a conversation. Like I remember watching you in Midsummer Night's Dream and just like
Yeah. Yeah.
your whole conversation like with Oberon. I'm just like, oh, like they're talking, you know? It's like it's not
Yeah.
just a movement, like this is a
Yeah.
conversation. And it was
Exactly.
clear. And I I don't know, whenever I watch more like story ballets and watch not like the
Mhm.
principal people, but everyone in the core just like acting in the background,
Mhm.
I'm always thinking just how do you stay in character like for that long? Because even though no one's completely watching you,
Mhm.
they still like you're a part of
Mhm.
the image. And when you're doing these little acting things and like
Oh,
you're trying to whisper to someone, then they like laugh as if you said something, like it all just looks so organic. And it's like, are you guys actually having conversations, on stage? Are you planning ahead of time? Like, okay, you kind of like say something funny and I'm gonna pretend to laugh. Like, or does things kind of happen spontaneously on stage? It's I don't know if
I
that
guess
much thought even goes into it, but I'm just
I
so
guess it
curious about this.
depends, and it's probably a little combination. Like it's somewhat set, and then in some pieces you can improvise. Like the friends in Capelia have a lot of acting to do, you
Yeah,
know. Like,
yeah.
and it's good. It's good. Yeah, and Mr. B would tell us if we're too far.
Oh, he would.
Yeah, yeah, like too much,
He's
dear,
like, too much, Maria.
too much, dear.
Down.
Yeah.
Was it hard to like get used to all that acting once you joined the company?
Well, I don't know. I didn't really have it in the beginning very much, you know.
Okay.
So it was later. I guess the sugar plum talk with the prince was the first
Was the
real.
first.
Yeah, yeah.
Does
But
Dewdrop have moments
then
like that when they
no,
come in or
no,
no?
no,
Okay.
no. She just comes in and bows to the sugar plum.
Oh, okay, that's all.
But
Okay. I didn't
actually, wait a
remember how
minute.
much.
Wait a minute. My memory is not so good. But as a parent in the Nutcracker, you have acting. That's true.
Oh,
Because
apparently.
you have to be present. You have to
Yeah.
enjoy the children. You have to relate. It's
So
acting.
you were like a parent in the Nutcracker?
Sure.
Is that like an apprentice thing that you'll have to do, or
No, that was
that's more
probably
like when you're in
core.
core?
Yeah, that was core.
Interesting.
So you would do appearance, snow, and flowers for me for children.
Oh, that's a lot in one show.
Yes.
Could you be
Yeah.
like in different spots in the core? Like on Tuesday you're in like so and so spot and like the snow scene, and then the next night you're like in a different spot, or are you typically going to be the same stack?
Yeah, they call those swing girls.
Oh, okay.
Like if somebody has to do that, like a swing girl. But I didn't have to do that. Mostly, I don't think we did in Nutcracker. I only had the one spot, and
So who
and
are the swings? Like who is that made up of?
I don't really know, but
Okay.
in other ballets, dancers have to learn multiple parts. Say, I never had to, thank God,
Oh,
because
right. That's so much to keep track
it
of.
is, yeah.
It always, again, that blows my mind too when they can do that.
And some of the ballets are just too complicated. You can't do that. Like in Glass Pieces, it's too
Oh my
it's
God,
too
all the
complicated.
walking. No,
Yeah,
that
you can't do that.
thank goodness
So,
though, that they wouldn't put anyone through that because that would just be
right.
torturous to try to keep track of.
Yeah,
Do you remember, can you like kind of talk about what it was like to
sure.
take Mr. B's class? Because I heard that was its own type
Right. That's very
set of
intense.
challenges.
It is. It was because um, at the school, a class is, well designed. It has the time. It goes progressively,
Right.
normal.
Yes.
It's normal-ish, normal.
Normal.
Yeah, normal. And but then when you began to apprentice, you
Mhm.
would take company class.
Mm.
That was your first dive into the class, and not normal at all, you know.
Really? Oh my God,
Uh,
why?
yeah, no, not at all, Andrew. So the bar was like 20 minutes usually, if that long. Consider yourself lucky if it was 20 minutes.
Why was it so short?
Um, well, first of all, it was only an hour class for Mr.
Oh.
Balanchine. And on performance days, it was, you know, while you were performing and stuff like that. But it was only an hour.
Oh.
And
Mm.
you know the whole thing. He gave 16 of this and 16 of that, and tendus and grand
Condo's
pliés.
been on forever, I heard.
He loved ronde-jambs and maybe an adagio, and he loved fondue. He loved fondue,
Interesting.
and he loved certain pieces of music for steps. I've written that all out so I wouldn't forget what they were.
Oh, really? So like for every
Yeah,
class you do like the similar pieces for
yeah, it's so
Oh.
cute, so cute, like summertime. So he loved Porgy and Bess. So
Okay, okay.
he used Porgy and Bess a lot, like summertime.
Okay. What
Like
would
he
you use
would
that
do, yeah,
for?
yeah, like he would do, well, so like say you're doing fondue and frappe together. So he would do da da fondue slow, and now the music continues, but you do faster. Da da dee da 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 da.
Oh,
And
interesting.
slow. So I think one thing that was great about his class is he did extremes. Like you would do things very slow, you would do
Mhm.
things very fast, and he's developing our skills.
Mm.
Mm, mhm.
No, that's very interesting because yeah, to move
Oh,
slow takes a lot of different like not coordination, but just like attention and moving fast and trying to move your muscles that way. And when you're moving slow, you want to kind of luxuriate and move through every single, you know,
wasn't
tendon,
it
whatever it may be.
wasn't technically what you would call a feel good class. There's nothing feeling good about it. It was more about how to present, so the whole thing about the
Hmm.
port de bras were huge, the épaulement.
Mm.
I actually, now I recall, it's funny when you forget things and then someone asks you and you remember them, but I really tried to apply myself in Saratoga. There was this one class, and it was one of his famous grand battement classes where we're doing it in all positions and we're changing our épaulement. And he made me do it for the whole class because he liked it.
Oh,
Oh,
really?
geez, oh my God, that was scary, but
That's so stressful when they're like, oh,
so
all eyes
stressful.
on Maria. You're like,
But yeah, but it was good. It was good. You learned a lot, and what you learned is what he wanted to see in his ballets.
right, like the classes was in order to present his ballets and how he wanted them to look.
Exactly. And the tempo of what that's about, so you don't get to do your
Mm.
own tempo, you have to do the tempo and the construction of the music. Um,
Mm.
very, very interesting, and yeah, amazing stuff that we learned.
So do
So
you feel like the majority of the class was then spent like on center work?
yes,
That was his
yeah,
priority, you know?
I would say so. You know, I
Interesting.
mean, he wanted the bar steps to be correct, right? It
Hmm.
adored Tandu. I mean, I think he felt so much came from Tandu, and it does. So you have to do Tandus a lot to have, especially for the women in the point shoes. So of course, women
Hmm.
always had to wear point shoes in the class, right? You never could wear
Oh,
sandals.
really?
Yeah. It was it
Wow.
was it was like that at SAB too,
Oh,
because
really?
this
It was
was
preparing you for that?
demanded.
Wow.
Mm.
Would Mr. B ever teach at SAB or it was he
He
would
only did the teacher lectures that I was actually part of. Like he chose, like, as an apprentice, I was part of that. There were a few company members like Meryl and Colleen, and there were about six of us that were chosen as apprentices or core to participate. And we did it at the school,
Hmm.
and all the teachers would come and watch him teach.
Oh.
and my teachers came, and so it was very hard. Like we did Entre Chassis to Grand Plié,
Oh my gosh.
but
I was like, how does one even do that? And you have pointe shoes on while you're doing that?
oh yeah, oh
Oh
yeah,
my
yeah, yeah,
gosh.
yeah. But
He's really
but
putting
when
you
you have
around.
pointe shoes on all the time, I'm
Uh-huh.
not saying it's like the be all end all, but when you do, the women's feet and legs develop a certain quality, you know.
Interesting.
Yeah. So he demanded that,
Yeah.
and of course he loved the speed and he loved the beats, and then whatever he was choreographing,
Hmm.
that's what we worked on. Like if he when he was choreographing for Merrill, for Bala, we worked on those kind of things. If
Oh.
we were doing piano concerto, ballet imperial, the girls do a lot of bourrées, especially in a big circle. We had to work on bourrées, and he was very specific about how he wanted bourrées, leading with the back foot.
Oh, okay.
So we
Okay.
had to work on that forever.
Wow. Like
Mm,
he really wanted to like drill into you what the
mm,
technique that was required. And that
mm.
makes sense, you know. He's making these ballets, it's his company, you know. You have an expectation that he wants to meet.
And he, he knew. Um, I think one of his number one things was that you would be present all the time in your whole self. You had to be
Mm.
present. And if you weren't, he would go up to the person and say, "What are you thinking about? Are you thinking about your boyfriend? Are you thinking about going to do the laundry afterwards? He knew when
Wait,
people weren't completely there. So he wanted.
how would he like bring you back into the space? Oh, he said
Well, that
snap
was,
into it.
yeah, yeah, snap into it. But that was up to you.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's funny.
yeah, that was up to you. Or he'd say, this was one of
Interesting.
my favorites. Like when your leg was up, he'd say, whose leg is that?
Oh,
Whose leg is that? Meaning, well, my interpretation, I'm sure other people have their interpretation, but meaning your
mm,
consciousness and your thought has to be
mm,
all the way into your leg. And you have to know when your leg comes down and you have to bring your leg up. So it's a total integration in the body.
it's not just happening randomly. Like your leg isn't just up.
Exactly.
Oh,
Exactly.
that's a really good way of getting you back into your body and just kind of
Yeah. Yeah.
being
The
present.
press.
Like who's doing
Yeah.
that?
He
That's a
was,
kind way of doing it too. You
hmm,
know, it's making you think. He wants
wait.
dancers who think, it seems, you know, and
Yeah.
that's a smart dancer.
Except for his famous line, "Don't think, dear.
Oh,
Just do."
really? It's,
That was his other famous, "Don't think, just do."
oh,
But
don't think,
that's
just
another kind
do.
of thinking. That's
Yes.
that's being preoccupied.
Like, don't overthink, don't overanalyze.
Yeah, yeah. And if we overthink, then we aren't present in the whole body, right?
Right? Right?
So that I think he was in
You'll,
on.
no. He's onto something, it seems. Interesting, Mr. Balanchine.
Interesting.
Well, could you talk about maybe some of like the teachers who, you know, helped you throughout the early stages of your career, maybe even in the school,
Oh,
who just
oh,
who
sure.
helped you as like your mentors, you know, because it's got to be difficult to go through ballet
Well, yeah. First
transition.
of all, because that ballet is done live in person, it is a passing on art, and you must learn from others. It's not instant oatmeal or anything
Instant. Okay.
microwavable. It
Yes.
has to be in person, and lucky are we that we had such incredible people.
Mm.
And at the school, see, when I went, we still had the Russians teaching, Madame
Oh,
Danilova and Madame Dubrovska. Madame
oh,
Dubrovska gave a very hard point class. It was
really?
incredible. And of course, Danilova gave variations, and we learned lace of feet. I learned I learned my first Swan Lake second act variation from her.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so incredible. And then she would do workshop, right?
Danilova did the workshop?
Yeah, she would do the
Okay.
presentations of the workshop, and then We were lucky, and we had, of course, the wonderful Antonina Tomkovsky that everyone talks about.
Oh,
She was our, drill person,
oh
Okay,
yeah.
32 Fortes, go. you know, it was
Really?
such a hard class, but maybe I think it prepared us for Mr. B, because it was
Yeah.
a hard class. But she was a love person too. She had a heart, a
I love that. So
huge heart.
do you feel like
And
they kind of cared about you as like a whole person? They weren't just catering to like your ballet
um,
life. They cared about your overall well-being.
I think so. I mean, there wasn't too much time. There's never time, you
Mm,
know? There's no
yeah,
time. I
so
mean,
busy.
my last years at the school, you're racing from professional children's school
Mm.
to the ballet
Running
class.
back and forth.
Because you're papa. But the thing these Russian women were so, I mean, Danilova and Dubrovska were in original Apollo people. I mean, come on.
Wow,
I
wow.
mean, yee,
That's
wow.
crazy to have access to that just type of
It was,
knowledge like right in front of you.
and they adapted so amazingly to being in New York too. I mean, that's a huge
Oh yeah, no,
change.
that's so different. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah. And they were great teachers. And then, of course, we were lucky to have Stanley Williams, who
Mm.
was doing a whole different thing, for the men and the women, but mostly the men. And his philosophy was totally different. And then we were lucky, as I said, we were lucky to have Suki because she had just left the company, and so we had direct
Mm,
information.
right. She was like one of the most recent people in the company to now be
Yeah,
sharing her knowledge with
yeah,
you guys.
yeah, that was fantastic. And
Yeah.
she took excellent care of us, and the ones that were in the better classes, we
Mm.
got to do her lecture demonstrations at the schools, so we got to
Oh,
perform.
that's good experience.
It was so good.
Hmm.
Yeah. And she always would look out for us, once we got in the company. And when I got in the company, and even a little before, Violette, who was the senior ballerina, was very, very nice to me. And she came
Really?
up to me once and said, he sees you. He's interested.
Wow.
And I thought, oh, okay, all right,
Oh.
gotta what that's about and try my best. And then once I was in the company, I think, as I mentioned, Susie Hendel was very important to me, and especially when I began to do soloist parts. She
Mm-hmm.
was very kind. And also, so I had two Susies, Susie Hendel and Susan Pilar.
Okay.
And when I began to have distress in being in the company, they
Mhm.
also really looked after me and
Oh,
would give
really?
me encouragement, and incredible. They were amazing. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah,
So,
because
so
they'd
during
been
those,
through it.
yeah. So
Yeah.
during those times where it was like really tough, to continue, like what is like what helped you like get out of bed in the day and put on those tights and put on those point shoes and, continue to make it happen for yourself?
I
Was it these
know.
mentors?
I don't know. Can you believe how disciplined it is? I
I know it
mean,
always
I
blows
mean,
my mind. Yeah.
it is. I mean, it's really a 10 to 10 job.
Hmm.
You
Because
you
you're really
get
never off the clock because even your instrument's your body and you're always with your body. That if you don't take
and
care of it off the clock, you're not going to feel good on the clock. So it just
no,
it seems very
incredible,
difficult. Hmm.
very difficult. And you'd have to get there early for Mr. B's class and try to do a little warm up.
Oh, really? You'd have to warm up even
Yeah.
before
And
class?
then, yeah.
Was that the
And then,
expectation?
what do you mean?
Like,
Uh,
were they like was everyone supposed to do that, or like
no,
is that
no,
how you kind of want it? Or
you learned that your body had to warm up
oh,
because it
really? Because
was
this
like,
class was that intense?
yes, it was like you did plies and then, okay, 16 tendus in each direction.
Oh
Okay,
my God.
32 dégagés in second. Okay, 32 rond de jambe en terre. Good. Okay,
Wha-
so 16 on layer, 16. Okay, grand battement and
Oh my
center.
God. You're like, how did we get here? We were just doing pliés.
It was
So
just like
plié is
that.
kind of like the only warm up you
And
really,
so
really
everybody
have.
warmed up, and then you learned you had to go to Pilates. Like when we all found Pilates, then we were like, oh, good.
Was that like what you use, like the reformer machines, or just?
Yes, yes.
Oh wow,
And
wow.
I studied with a woman named Carola Trier,
Mm-hmm.
and the other woman that she and Romana Mejia are the ones that work directly with Joseph Pilates. They were like the two biggies.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. And I got to study with Carola, or work with in her place. We didn't really have PT when I began to work in the company like they have now with
Oh,
Marie
so like
Kondo.
Pilates kind of helped,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah. Get you
tweak the body
strong.
before you got injured or anything.
Exactly. It was really good.
Interesting.
But
Interesting. Can you talk
yeah,
about maybe what some of your first roles were that you remember performing with the company? Some of your
right,
breaks, some of your most stressful roles you
right.
had to do.
Well, okay, I've told you, I love being in the corps because it really set me up for the doing the principal parts of ballets, and it was
Hmm.
good. It was important practice, and now that I've been a repetiteur, I'm also glad I had the corps, experience because
Mm.
when you stage ballets, you have to do the corps also.
Oh,
You
you're in
don't
charge of every aspect of
you're
the
in charge of
ballet.
everything. I mean,
Oh,
I often share my work with my husband, Bart Cook, also former principal dancer. So
okay.
we share parts, but you have to know the whole thing, you know? So
Yeah.
yeah, so the core roles were very important. And I got in at 17, and at 19, my first solo role was Dewdrop. And it was
Oh,
really a shock because the casting went up and I had to do it in a week. And of course, I had been studying it on the sides because I loved it, but it was
okay.
very stressful.
Like you hadn't had any formal rehearsals before then. You just kind of were learning it
No,
as a fan.
yeah, exactly. Exactly. And I did pretty well with that. And then
Okay.
I continued. Mr. B gave me other things to do. Like one of my first things was the Elegy in Suite 3 with the bare feet.
Oh,
Um,
okay, okay.
Karin did that a lot. And it was really, really hard for me because it was about romance with the man. And I didn't have any experience. I felt so, I would go upstairs and rehearse myself over and over and over
Mm-hmm.
because I loved it. But I also was not, I knew I was missing something. Later on, I did it so beautifully, but I
Hmm.
knew I was just so young, and
Yeah,
oh
yeah.
my God. But I got to do quite a bit. Like Divertimento, my part in Divertimento, the first Adagio girl, and
Mm.
um,
Hmm.
Dewdrop was wonderful. And Serenade, I began to do my Dark Angel part in Serenade.
Oh, really? Still
And
as
yeah,
like a member of the corps?
yeah. I was never in the core of Serenade.
Okay, but like when you're in the
Yeah,
corps of the company, you were still doing like the Dark Angel role?
yeah.
Wow, wow.
Because I got in the company at 17, and I
Mhm.
think I was 21 when I became a soloist officially, but I was already doing.
Doing the work.
And then 2 years later, I was promoted to principal.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow. Okay.
yeah. So I did quite a bit, you
Yeah.
know. Yeah.
Was it nice to be able to revisit those roles throughout your career? Like, did you continue doing Dewdrop and, the elegies like throughout the rest of your career?
I did up to a certain point.
Hmm.
And then of course Sugar Plum and all that. And um,
Hmm.
I did up to a certain point. Like, I did the Potawatomi Ballet Imperial Tchaikovsky Piano Concerto, and then I
Oh,
switched to the ballerina. And then, like in
oh,
Swan Lake, I did the corps, one of the soloists of Pot Enough, and then I became the Odette person. And,
hmm.
you do have to
Hmm.
kind of give some things up as you go,
Okay. As
you
you go
know.
along.
And as I got more, entrenched with Robbins and doing ballets, having him choreograph ballets on me and doing his repertory. There was just so much that could go around. So,
Okay.
but some things I stayed in forever, ever, like Serenade or Apollo or
Okay,
Symphony
yeah.
in C. I graduated from the fourth movement ballerina to the first movement ballerina.
Okay,
And
love that
love
variation.
that. I got a few tries at second movement, but
Oh,
only a
really?
couple a couple of times. I asked to do it. Yeah, I did.
Which do you have like a preference between the two sections? They're so different.
They're so different.
They're so different. I love both the music for both of them.
They're great.
I
First
could almost
movement
do it
was
over and
great.
over.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's a lot like Sugar Plum actually, first movement. And yeah,
I like
so
all
the
like yeah the
but
turns
the
when like the man
yeah,
spins you.
but the big breakthroughs I think were the leotard ballets. We talked about that a little.
Ah,
That's
okay.
really
The
important. If
Stravinsky
you're a
ballets.
Balanchine dancer and you're in New York City Ballet, you
Mm,
must adapt to the leotard ballets. Fortis probably first, and then
mm.
you get into Agon. And I did the pas de trois for a really long time, and he
Okay.
really liked my work in that. And then I did
Did
get
the
to
pas de
do
deux.
pas de deux later on.
Oh wow. So was Fortes your first like leotard ballet that you had done?
I'm not sure. Well, I was one of the four girls in Phlegmatic for a long time.
Oh, okay.
Phlegmatic with like Adam or Jean-Pierre Bonfou, and I adored that. That was fantastic.
Okay.
You
That's a
know.
fun part.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. That a lot of practice. And then later on I did Choleric and he loved me in Choleric. I loved doing Choleric,
Okay.
the girl
Yeah.
with the legs and the whole thing. It was great. But then probably one of my most important ones was when I got into the pas de trois of Advan because that was really special.
Mm. Mm. So how do you remember when you made that debut in
I
Agon?
was a soloist. I was a soloist.
Hmm.
Yeah, so it was like the early 80s and then I also was doing one of the soloists in Symphony in Three Movements, The Turning Girl. I did that forever and ever and ever until I got to do the pas de deux.
Oh,
I did
interesting.
that forever and ever. And I loved both of them so much. And Emeralds was a big part for me too. The
Emeralds.
walking cottage. I did that forever and ever. He
Oh,
really
really?
liked me in that. Yeah. And then I
Awesome.
had breakthrough roles like I was the first person to try Mozartiana after Suzanne. That was a
Oh,
break.
really?
And I was the first person to
Oh,
try her role in David's Bundler Tanza. That was a breakthrough.
oh, really?
And then, listen to me. And then Slaughter on 10th Avenue is a big, huge hit.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah.
I wanted to see that one.
That
I
was
love
so good.
the
I loved it.
jazziness to it.
Yeah,
Oh,
so much fun.
well, Jazzy Maria coming out.
Yeah, yeah, just show all the personalities. So,
The kicks. Oh,
um,
that is so fun.
but but Swan Lake and Sugar Plum were just very important for me. He
Mm.
loved my sugar plum. So I did that way before he passed away.
Oh,
And he would come to my dressing room and make sure my crown was correct because he didn't want it. You know how you can put on a crown, you can put it like really like this. But he
okay.
wanted it, spread out more Russian.
Oh, like on interesting.
I mean, it was up, but it was spread. So I
Yeah, it
always
wasn't
tried
like
to be sure. It
stuck in the
wasn't
middle of the
tight,
head.
but yeah, yeah, yeah.
And do you remember who your first like cavalier was? Like your first
I
partner for
think,
the
yeah,
Sugar
I think it
Plum?
was probably Sean Lavery.
Wow.
And
Okay.
I did it a lot with Adam Luders. I did it a lot with
Mm.
Joseph Duell, who was a longtime partner.
Wow.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
that's
I
amazing.
loved, oh God, loved that. That's such a great part. So lots of parts. And then there was Jerry Robbins, but that's like a whole nother
Right. We're gonna have to get into that one next time. Yeah, there's so
Yeah,
much to talk about with
exactly.
that.